and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today with another episode of Free Pattern Friday. I just love Free Pattern Fridays. I don't know, I'm retired, I don't work anymore, but Free Pattern Fridays are so much fun because we get to share with you all sorts of really cool and wonderful things. So, before we get started, I want you to go check out Susan at Sunrise Quilt Studio. Now I'm going to put her YouTube channel in the show notes below. I have been following Susan for years. I have enjoyed her stuff for a very long time. She was doing a little vintage series a while back, and she just loves lovely, lovely blocks. So if you get the chance to go check her out, do so. And we also have a Facebook group where we're making use of the rooms. And those rooms are a lot of fun because it's basically a 24/7 sewing date that you have if you want to, come hang out or whatever. And I try and get into the room as often as I have, that I have the free time available. So it's a lot of fun. We get to know everybody, and it's a great way of making new friends. But come on in. We're going to show you the whole star, and that pattern, that PDF is going to be in the show notes below as well. Okay, come on in. We've got some sewing to do. Okay, so the whole star is, so there's several of them. This ends up being a good size block, and it's a lot of fun. But what you'll need is a tracing wheel to mark your lines, add a quarter ruler and a little magic wand, like I have, and scraps. I have cut all my scraps ready to rock and roll because I didn't want to be sitting here for too long, and I didn't want you guys to be sitting there either. So the pattern is in the show notes below, and basically it's 2 parts, but you print 4 pages because this only makes 1 quadrant, right? So this is only going to make, these 2 pieces when you sew them together are only going to make the 6.5 unfinished block, right? So you need 4 pages to make a full quadrant. So what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is I've rough cut all my pieces that I need, right? Now, I'm going to give you guys, everybody has seen me do this, but when you're doing 4 papers at a time, you can line up 4 papers, and you line them up just the way they come out of your printer, and you sew on them all the same, right? Because if you line them up and you stack them together, this doesn't take very long before you have 4 scored or dotted pieces. Now I've also ran off the rail, but anyways, that's okay. Now this is an easy way of marking stuff, and you can see these marks and feel the marks from behind. You might not be able to see them here on the camera, but I'm able to feel them. But because you're doing 4 pages at a time, you would be doing 4 pages, just line up 4 pages. And it's nice, fast, easy work to get all of this done. So, now from here you can feel, I don't know if you can see the scoring or not, but you can feel it, right, that tracing wheel has left. So the first thing we're going to do is 1. Now, what I did with 1 is I should probably cut this, hang on. We'll cut this and get some of the excess paper off. Yes, it's my fabric scissors. It's also my Teflon junk scissors. It's also my cut through anything scissor. So it's one of those fun scissors that works for everything. So what you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do is take this, and where your line is, you're going to fold it over, and you're just going to cut it just like that. Now that piece has to go down first. So that piece is going to go like this, because you want everything covered well covered, and then you're going to put the second color in, and in my case it's red. I thought, okay, now we're just going to lay them down together. There. And there we go, I'm just going to move that just slightly down. There. So now I can see from the back where I need this to be, right? Now, I have shrunk up my stitches to about 25 to 30 stitches per inch, and that for me works. I sit there and I tell people, whatever is working for you, that's good. So now we just want to cut through and go through all the way down the line. Now pull that away and you get your second piece. The hardest thing about paper piecing sometimes is getting that first piece lined up, right? Because that's where you need to be. So you want it just hanging over 1/4 of an inch, and then you want your second piece, whatever color you choose. I'm overrun with red and blues and whites and everything, so that's what I'm using out of my scraps. So now you can peek. You hold it down, you got your needle down, and you can peek to make sure you've got a good 1/4 inch on that first seam. And I do, so I'm just going to pull it up like this and pull it out. There we go. And now all I'm going to do, now if I was doing a really good piece, you know, something that I was making a very special piece, I would make sure that I ironed this well and, you know, everything was lining up perfectly and all that kind of stuff, right? But because I'm just doing this quick like, now what I'm going to do now is flip this over and get my magic wand and line up along that second piece, okay, and fold it and just rip it down. Now I'm going to cut out that there. I'm going to just cut that out just like so, very quick. And now I know where my third piece is going to go. So I'm just, you can just put your nails down once you've scored it, because it bends really easily then, right? So that's why it's such a good trick. I believe I remember what tracing wheels were really used for, but I haven't used one of those in a very long time. So now I take my third piece, which is a white or low volume, and what I do is I'm making sure that I am down, I'm just going to put this down like so, so I know where the base of my line is, and then I'm going to lay this down. So I make sure I cover that by at least 1/8 of an inch, right? Because you don't want a bunch of stuff that you have to trim off, but at the same time, oh, I need a little more room. But at the same time, you don't want it to be off too much. There we go. And I'm going to do the same for this. I'm just going to trace that outside seam, just give it a quick little fold so I can see it from the back as to how far my low volume has to go down. I'm going to just cover it up by 1/8. There we go. And run this down just like so. This block did not take long. There's only 5 pieces, right? So it's not a big complex, you know, paper piecing. Some people ask why you do paper piecing. Some people are kind of anti-paper piecing, I guess. The big reason why you do paper piecing is precision. That's where paper piecing hands down wins, right? It's the precision of what you are doing. Now, I'm going to get the 4th piece added, get it all figured out, and get it all laid out nice and neat. There we go. And we've got enough to make a seam, so we're good. And get the other one there. Now these are, I don't know, I like paper piecing. I always liked it. I always enjoyed the whole process of paper piecing. But I know not everybody has that. It kind of gets people mixed up sometimes too. Now, I'm going to show you something here. We're a little shy right here on this seam, right? Because it's only like a little bit, it's like a chubby fat 1/8, but it's big enough to make our seam. So we are good. We are good to go. Don't worry about having a little a little wobble like that, because you've got more than 1/8 of an inch, you're good. Okay, so let's get this done. Now, I want this blue to be out as far as I can. Here we go, and we'll just put that under. I should probably go, yeah, I'm out for enough. Yeah, I'm out for enough, I'm good. And we just follow the line all the way to the end. And there we go. Yeah. Now, when you're doing this blue, you have to make sure it covers this and at least into the seam allowance. Now, this is where I am, and this is where my seam allowance is. I have enough coverage, so I'm good. So I don't have to worry about, you know, adding another piece on or anything else like that. I can just keep sewing. So, now if you do find yourself short, you have a couple options. You can pick that apart and actually make, you know, make kind of an extra little, add just another piece. And I'll show you one that I did when we get to our to-da moment. As I was doing this, I missed a little bit of a corner, and I just added a bit more fabric of the same color. And when you finish the block, unless you go looking for it, you're not going to find it. You know, but I will show you how to do that. Or I will show you what it looks like when it's all done. Oh, I missed this fold. Oh no. I folded it wrong. Okay. Alright, so now we get the last piece on, and the last piece is about right there. Now you just want to have just enough, right, so that it folds over, right? Okay. So you want to be a little more generous to the top. There we go. And last piece on here. Now I take it, because I'm holding this up so I can kind of see the line from the back. And I should probably go this way, because that's a bit better. A bit better. And there, okay. And now we have all of this done. This is when you would take it over and make sure you give it a good press so everything is lined up perfect, and you don't have to worry about, you know, all sorts of, you know, weird little things happening now with your block. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this so that I've got good seam allowances. I got a good 1/4 inch seam allowance. And there. And I only did 2 because I did the other 6 this morning, because I didn't want you guys to sit there and think, wow, this is taking forever, because this has not taken long to do paper piecing, right? So there we go. There's one, and get the other one. There. There we go. And one more. I'm going to kind of line these up. Take your time trimming the outside edge. And if you're trimming big pieces off, I just put them either in my strings or my dog bed. There we go. Now, Once you got all those done, all those trimmed up, we are going to line up the rest of them. Now, so these 4 of them, there's 4 of them. So you can either sew them like this, right, where this is the center, if you want. That would look really sharp. Or you could sew more, this is the center. But let's lay them out. Let's put these pieces together and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Then we'll show you the quadrants. So I'm going to change my foot to my 1/4 inch foot. There we go. There. There we go. There. Yeah. So, now I've got my stitches still tiny, which is good. Still got them tiny, still got them short, that's all right. Okay, now I'm going to move this board out of the way because it's a little bit of a pain. Now you could have went totally scrappy with this and just put whatever low volume you had kicking around and, you know, whatever color you had. I mean, I decided to go reds and blues and whites because I'm overrun with reds and blues. And I've got lots and lots of white scraps, so that's nice to have. That's always nice to have. Okay, and there we go. Now this is a fun little style. Wow, that was a wobble and a half. Okay, and last one, last quadrant. Line this up. Now I haven't taken off the paper, and I haven't put any stay stitching on it yet, because I do that right at the end. Like I will stay stitch to the edge of the outside edge. Okay, now we got all 4 quadrants done. Now there's, like I say, there's 2 ways of doing this, lining this up. So you can either, okay, I'm just gonna pop them over like this. There. Whichever is more aesthetically pleasing for you is the one you make. Okay. So you can put it with the dark blue in the middle, to the middle, where you have a little star of white popping out of the center, which creates your hole, just like that, right? Or you can do it this way, right? And it would create a much larger hole. But your blues, your very outside edge of your blues would match up, right? So it's kind of like you've got like a cross thing going through your star. It's up to you how you do it. I kind of like this one where the little star is in the middle. So I'm going to sew it that way. So I take 2 quadrants and I put them like this. Now, there we go. Now I've got one, I want one to go one way, one seam to go one way, and the other seam to go the other way. Because I want them to nest. And same with this. There we go. Let's line that up. There. Okay, and last seam to go through, and then I'll do some stay stitching. Alright, so there, I'm going to go like this. Now, I have to decide. Here. Oops, there you go. Okay, oops, there. Yeah, and I want that open because I want that and that to go like this. There we go. And I have to find my foot pedal again. There. So now I'm going to take this off and I'm going to do my stay stitching, because that stay stitching will help secure the bias edge if there is one. And I just do that within the seam allowance. I don't get any fancier than that. And I stay within the seam allowance. Now, one of the things, this will pop and turn, so this will lie nice and flat, and you'll have a swirling thing going on. And you just keep that outer edge in that swirl so it stays, it doesn't twist on you. You don't want it twisting. There we go. We have a big, beautiful 12.5 inch block. Yeah, give it another one. Now I'm pivoting with the needle down. And there's a big thread there. There. And we're now at the ta-da moment. Okay, so this is our big ta-da moment. I think this is kind of a big kind of cute thing going on. It's not too crazy, it's not too busy, but it's kind of an interesting. Now you could take this and put a different color in here other than your low volume, but the idea is to make this star have a hole. So that was kind of an interesting twist on, you know, the typical star. So I hope you enjoy this. Hope you try this one out. This is a really fun, this was really a fun way of using up your little bits and bobs and everything, and you make kind of a cute little thing in the meantime too. So I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead, and I hope everything goes right for you, and just all sorts of joyful time in your sewing room. Okay, you take care. All right, bye. My husband and I would love to thank you for coming along with us on our quilting journey and the YouTube adventure that we're on. We have some wonderful plans for 2023, and it includes a lot more, like with the Facebook group and the rooms feature and sewing and hanging out with people. Those monthly Zoom sew dates are still in the works. We have a lot of fun ideas coming up for 2023, and we hope you share, like, and subscribe with your friends. That little notification button and subscribing to us really helps us out. Commenting helps us out too. So if you like what you're seeing, let us know. Even send us a heart on the comment. That helps so much for us. Okay, you have an absolutely fabulous 2023, and all of our best wishes for you in the future. Okay, take care. Bye.